Scalpers and price gougers are one of the most frustrating parts of being a Magic the Gathering fan in the year of our Lord 2025. Namely because Wizards of the Coast have gotten into this habit of releasing very, very desirable, exciting stuff into a limited premium model that then sells out and people can sell back to you for a premium price themselves online. And that's before we even factor in the overwhelming cost of 30 to 40 to 50 pounds for 4 to 8 Magic the Gathering cards being already extortionate. I have covered previously that the Marvel Secret Lair was a fucking mess. So what I wanted to do today was to see if we've got an improvement when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog. The Sonic Secret Lairs went on sale on Monday, and yesterday I was feeling pretty fucking depressed, so I didn't cover it. That's the god honest truth. But I'm feeling a lot better today, so let's talk about it. And if you like the cut of my jib or you want to cheer me up for my depression because money helps, you can give me £2 a month. That's a fucking terrible read. Why did I say that? You can give me £2 a month by joining my Patreon via the link in the description below. So some of you might have seen that they've actually implemented a new model to remove the chances of everything getting scalped out. Previously, with things like Marvel Secret Lairs, people just got in and bought up everything and it was fucking hard to get hold of stuff. The Final Fantasy Lairs were also a massive pile of shit, as you might be able to tell from this thumbnail. People queue jumped, people bought up things went out of stock prior to you getting in, even though you got in on the line, you were there waiting from day second dot, and then when you got in, it was actually you're gonna have to wait an hour, and then it's not a fucking hour, it's multiple hours. So one of the key questions of this video is, did Wizards of the Coast find a way to successfully remove the scalping issue? And if we're honest, no. But if we're honest, it was a reasonable effort. Limiting the number of items you can buy to only 2 per product, when actually there's foil, non-foil, and then bundles that are made up of the other smaller bundle stock. So if the larger buy everything bundles sell out, it will drain the stock levels on the smaller bundles, or at least that's how I understand the Secret Lair stocking is done at the moment. As far as I understand it, the big bundles of everything only go out of stock when the smaller bundles that compose them are out of stock, and thus they are drawing from the same well. So essentially, people buying up a selection of the large one with everything in it and the smaller single bundles with the 5 cards in or whatever will make the things go out of stock. Not quicker, but it taxes the same resource, essentially. The same supply. Doing that and limiting each single item to just 2 per person is not really solving the problem, especially when people can A, buy one of every single product, that's still getting fucking dozens and dozens of the layers, and B, people can just sign up with different email addresses or different IPs. The way around this is relatively simple. You can have it on your phone, your other phone if you've got a second phone because you're a weirdo, and your computer and your work laptop, and bang, bing, bong, you're buying 2 times 4, that's 8 of every single item. It's like a heroin addict telling you, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, I'm using clean needles. That metaphor doesn't quite work because perhaps we're the heroin addicts. On the topic of addiction, yes, I wanted the main lair, the friends and foes one, the one that came with Sonic and Eggman and all that goodness. I'm a big fucking retro game nerdy dork. I was Team Nintendo growing up, but Nintendo Sega into the PlayStation 1 era is like the retro period that I love the most. It is my childhood. And thus, when Sonic came to Smash Bros, little teenage Vince did a little wee-wee in his panty. And thus, one day, hopefully, I could play Super Smash Bros. In Magic by having a Mario deck and a Sonic deck and a Link deck. And I know some of you, that makes your skin crawl, but I don't give a fuck, I love it. And so, what was my personal experience going into this? Well, I queued up at the second it all came available on my phone as I was going with my wife to pick up my daughter from school. I had my phone there waiting in the queue. I went to family's house with my daughter, still on the fucking queue on my phone. This is the funny thing, is that it's so disruptive to your actual day. Like, if you're waking up early to do this, you're having to do the school run while doing this, you're working in an office or having to take breaks or whatever it is to try and get in the door to buy a product and give Wizards your money, and they're like, no, we're gonna make this limited run so everyone crowds in at the same time, and it's a fucking nightmare to get hold of. Now, that said, it wasn't as bad as previous layers. On my personal experience, my hour-long rate got up to over, I think it was an hour and 40 when I gave up. I stopped trying, because for some reason, other people in the same region as me, the same area of the world as me, were getting through much faster. Miabytes has been doing these half scientific, half jokey, but they are serious, bits on Blue Sky where she loads up 3 different browsers, and often one of those browsers will just be 20 minutes faster than the other ones when trying to queue for secret lairs. Shout out to Naki on my Discord, who snagged me one. So they bought two. One of them's for me. I'm going to pick it up off of them because I had to give up, and they got through quicker than I did as well. The only reason I stayed into the 1 hour, 40-minute mark was because I was just curious for how long it would go. But then I had things to do and a life to live, so I said, fuck it, and I closed the browser. And I'm someone who's more invested in this shit than most. It's fucking tiring. It's fucking exhausting. But on the upside, even though people got in and some people queued for 20 minutes, and other people queued for 2 hours, people tended to get what they wanted. Now, some of it's already out of stock, so this narrative that everyone got what they wanted if they waited isn't quite true, right? Because people who logged in the following day didn't get what they wanted, and things have sold out. There is still a limited supply. And that brings me to my main point of the video, is that actually the fix for all of this is to A, make your website not complete and utter dog shit, but B, is not to make it this limited thing and turn it back to print to demand. And that way you have a window, whether it be a week, 2 weeks, even just a couple of days, I guess, if you really want to still do some of that FOMO shit, you have a period where everyone can order and get what they want, as opposed to the current situation where everyone clambers in the fear that's going to be another Marvel or Final Fantasy, or people might look back on this one as the kind of secret that they want, but the reality is you're still having to fucking grasp your way up that hill to try and get the item and fight against other people with your time. So it's sold out slower, and people had to queue for less time than some of the obnoxious queues for like Marvel and Final Fantasy, and most people didn't have the situation of being in queue and it being sold out for them by the time they got to the end of the queue. That was a common issue with the Final Fantasy and Marvel layers. This leads me to think one of two things. One, the limiting to 2 of each product type per person did have some sort of limiting factor. I guess some scalpers, the less serious ones, aren't going to do the workarounds of having multiple logins and multiple email addresses and similar. So it will knock off some of that scalping. And B, perhaps they had more available than the previous layers. Or should I say, they met demand better in terms of numbers. It's hard to say because they won't tell us which layers sell better than others. They kind of sometimes like feels a tidbit in an interview with like a Mark Rosewater or similar that mentioned how a certain product line outsold another one and stuff like that. Walking Dead was the most successful lair of its kind up until the release of the Warhammer decks. I think it was around that time they said that. I assume it's been outdone by Marvel and Final Fantasy since. So that means that we just don't know whether Final Fantasy had a huge amount of allocation and then a huge demand met that and gobbled it up, similar with Marvel. And then by comparison, Sonic could be that there's a smaller allocation, a smaller production budget or number, if you will, and the demand took longer to get to it, especially with the limitations of 2 per user. We just don't know. But whatever that is, whatever mixture of that is, number printed to the allocation restriction or the ordering restriction for users, that has resulted in a slightly smoother, and I'm going to say that, slightly smoother Secret Lair experience. So instead of me coming around the corner with a megaphone shouting, this is complete and utter dog shit, instead I'm just saying, well, it's not ideal, but it's better, I guess. On that note, there are still people in the UK who've not received their Final Fantasy Secret Lairs, and the reason that's fucking egregious is A, it's been over a month, but B, the whole reason we moved to a non-print to demand method, we moved to this limited availability method, was to allow them to send stuff out quicker. The point that they made to us is that it benefits the consumer, because previously these items were not getting to our doorsteps very quickly at all, sometimes taking months, 6 months, even longer. But that only benefited North America, it would seem. Europe has taken over a month to get it, and some people still haven't got it on my Discord. It's not outside of the timeframes that they put on their fucking website though, because they've allowed themselves like a 4-month window to get this out to Europeans. The point I'm getting at with this little aside is that this is complete and utter dog shit and not really acceptable. If you're going to move to a model that means less people get what they want because it's meant to benefit the consumer in terms of delivery times, then it should benefit the consumer in terms of delivery times. Now, yes, it is quicker than waiting, say, 6 months, but I still think it's fucking strange that Europe is getting it so late. I don't want to don the conspiratorial fucking crown of tin here, but it does make me wonder if they're printing it after it's been bought, and thus the switching it back to a print-to-demand method wouldn't be as fucking hard as you might think. Like, they have printing facilities in Belgium, right? Like, all of the European product, well, the vast majority of it is printed in Belgium. So this isn't a case of shipping it across from North America or from China or wherever the other printing facilities are. Japan, I think, is actually, not China. Not for the cards anyway. They might print boxes and stuff in China. Anyway, yes, surely that means that the stuff should be in Europe and be able to be distributed quicker. I'm just a bit confused by all of that. So yes, Wizards of the Coast have improved from their previous Secret Lair offerings for these big, explosive, exciting, like limited time Universes Beyond stuff. And at time of recording, the scalpers have started to go up on eBay. Today there was some for the set of the cards that was £50 to buy in Europe in foil and 40 in non-foil, and now for 70, 80, and some people are putting them for £100. I guess that over the coming weeks, as this stuff gets delivered to North America and Europe doesn't have theirs in hand and the stuff is out of stock on the website, that those prices will go up in terms of what people are asking for it. Whether or not people will buy it up for those prices is yet to be seen. I have a feeling that perhaps not. Sonic is not quite the FOMO waifu shit that like Final Fantasy was, for example, and also it does seem like a lot of people got the stuff they were looking for and weren't left out in the cold by the previous method where scalpers could buy everything from the fucking shop they wanted. Either way, it is still sad to see Magic the Gathering and some of its collaborations with the larger brands be dominated by this conversation around FOMO and scalping, because that's not really... It doesn't really constitute or work towards being a good game, does it? It just makes you an investment portfolio or this fucking... Magic shouldn't be about the money, really, should it? I've been Vince, also known as PleasantKenobi on the internet. I hope you got what you wanted from the Secret Lair drop. Hope some of you abstained. I almost did, but I couldn't fucking help myself. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and let me know whether you ordered and what your experience was like as well. I love hearing how people got on with it, because it helps me to form a vibe that comes through in these videos. In the meantime, be good to one another, and I'll see you in the next one, dickheads. Ta-ta for now.